What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So if of course you are an Avengers fan, which I'm assuming you are if you are watching this video, then you will know that the last couple of days have been pretty crazy. And when I say pretty crazy, I'm talking about the release of Cyberpunk, right? And essentially just different communities going at each other, but most importantly that Marvel's Avengers also, in this time this is all going on, went 50% off again until yesterday. So if you were someone who didn't already buy the game, well, technically yesterday was your opportunity to get that at 50% off. But this is very interesting because technically it's the second time it's gone on sale. Of course, with Black Friday just gone, but now they've done a complete different sale as well. So some very interesting things going on behind the scenes. What I would do want you guys to let me know in the comments is, what do you think about the situation with Marvel's Avengers being compared to Cyberpunk and vice versa, Cyberpunk being compared to Marvel's Avengers? Just be completely honest and let me know in the comments below, alright? Be nice to each other, but just let me know your thoughts on that. As always, let's try and crush 9 likes. Go ahead, click that big red subscribe button below if you haven't already. And just a quick reminder as well, the video that I uploaded a couple of days ago, we had some really cool info in there from what happened with the devs playing the game and just releasing some really cool info, all the way to a feature in the game that was added in the recent update that just looks so bright for this game and has so many fans really hyped up about that. So check that out if you haven't already. But let's just get into this video. So I know there's been a ton of YouTubers talk about this, right? The whole launch with Cyberpunk 2077 first and foremost, and yes, it's very interesting because that game was in development for a very long time, like Marvel's Avengers. But what's interesting is, of course, the people that I guess really hated on Marvel's Avengers launch did also say that, you know, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be the game that's going to basically take me away from Marvel's Avengers and keep me distracted. Well, it's safe to say, I mean, that's going down very interesting. Now, this is going to tie into what I'm going to say next, and then I'm going to go back to that topic. So in this time, of course, the game went 50% off. So the official Square Enix account, not the official Play Avengers, which is the Marvel's Avengers Twitter account, it's Square Enix this time actually tweeting, "Bang the drum, Marvel's Avengers is 50% off digital at the PlayStation and Microsoft Store alongside Stadia and Steam until December the 13th, which of course was just yesterday." Now, this can be one of two things, okay? Either very interested in marketing because they know the situation with Cyberpunk and this game being 50% off, and them also knowing that the game got a lot of hate with its rocky, I guess, launch, right? This could have been a smart marketing tactic where it's like, okay, well, a lot of people are complaining, but what about the people that never really wanted to buy Marvel's Avengers? Well, here you go. Here you can have Marvel's Avengers at a whopping 50% off to now compare it again to Cyberpunk. Was the wait worth it? Was it really as rocky as people were saying? So that's an interesting part. The second part towards this is very interesting because it still kind of gives me the fear about the plug being pulled, because taking into consideration that it's the second time the game has gone on sale at a very large amount, fair enough, Black Friday, Cyber Monday and all that stuff, right? That kind of makes sense, but just for it to randomly go on sale like that, not on a Black Friday, not on a Cyber Monday deal, is very good and alarming, okay? I know a lot of people are now saying, well, technically we're like one step away from the game going completely free, which I guess technically you're right, but putting into some consideration, I've always said that I do think it will eventually be a free-to-play game, i.e. more like a PlayStation perk if it was to be, if I'm completely honest, and that way they'll just drive up those numbers, right? But it'll be like one of those PlayStation Plus games of the month, etc. I'm calling it now 100%. However, I think it will be a situation like that after they add majority of the free content that we're yet to get, right? So we've had Kate Bishop, we still got Clint, aka of course Hawkeye, we still got Black Panther, we still got Spider-Man, we got Winter Soldier, all these these characters, War Machine, right, that are still meant to come in the game, and they're all going to be free DLCs. Like, we're not just getting a random hero in the game. It's not just going to be like that, and I feel sometimes a lot of people do actually still kind of get confused and forget that it's not just a character we're getting brand new content for character alongside like a mini story for that character, new gears, new perks, new maps. All these different little things do go a very long way, especially when you ain't got to pay a penny for it, right? So it's always a perk. So I think when the game does eventually go as a free-to-play game, 1 month, very soon, probably just before their next-gen launch, I'd imagine, because don't forget, if you have the game on current gen, you get a free upgrade to the next gen, so if you have the game now, it's basically a perk for these guys anyway. So I think that'll be a situation, but once majority of at least that free content is there, and once they do see these numbers going up, that's when they're going to drop that free to play situation without a single doubt. But now going back to the Cyberpunk 2077 situation. So here's the thing, right? We got an apology from those devs now saying, and by the way, I just want to personally say that although I do think the game does look cool, Cyberpunk, I have no hate towards it. It's just not really my style of game, so I haven't actually played it for myself, but taking an overlook at it, I mean, you can see the situation is very rough. Now, those devs also put out a similar message like when Marvel's Avengers launched, saying that they're aware of the bugs and that they will be fixing it. But I think what we actually tie down to, right, let's just put communities going against each other aside for a second, right, because at the end of the day, we still love games. I mean, sure, you do get the people that bash one game that won't bash another game, but I know there's plenty of cool YouTubers that I watch as well that have already covered this topic, and if you haven't seen it, then I'm sure it will pop up very, very soon anyway. So that's one situation. But I think if we take a look at like the underlying problem here, which in some sort of way I kind of get, right? So imagine the situation they've been in. So you've been developing a game for like years and years and years, and then the year that the game is about to be released, you know, next gen consoles get announced and they get released as well. So now you're completely thrown off, right? So you've been working on the game for like 5 years, 6 years, however long it may be, and then all the tools that you had access to at that time to make that game great for those consoles basically get chucked down the drain, because now you got next gen consoles that are way more powerful, way more opportunities for the game, but now you technically can't do anything because you still have to deliver the game on the old gen consoles. Now it works in two ways. A, we know majority of people still haven't got next gen consoles, me included in that, because they're just so difficult to get my hands on. And also when you get next gen, well, like a brand new console, right, like there's never really any games for a while anyway, so that's another thing to take into consideration. So a lot of people are still on the current gen games, console should I say, but at the same time, another thing is, I think they've been forced, both of these devs, to just release the game how it is on these consoles, but what they're all really planning for is that next gen release. Absolutely, 100%. It's a really crappy situation when you think about it on a deep perspective, but I think ultimately that's the problem with these two games. There are great games, but I'm sure the developers just kind of got demotivated when they realized that all the other things they could have done are now not really possible at this moment in time, but they still have to deliver the game at the date they promised because of investors and all that kind of stuff. So it is sad, but it kind of is what it is as well. But leave your thoughts on that in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.